Mr. Ms. T.R.'s Way Life After Chemo. Hello, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. We will be hosting call-in, so maybe you can call in because I see that this something that you're familiar with. Hello, welcome and glad you're here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm gonna wait for a few more people to come in, and then we'll get started. Oh, thank you. Special guest. Don't say your name yet, but we have a person in the chat that says that they are a stage 3 breast cancer survivor.
That's wonderful.
Oh, I see where everybody at. We may have to go ahead and get started because someone else is live, and that's going to captivate their attention for a moment. So
Okay.
we'll just go ahead and roll until they get through that. Let me see how long they've been live. They just went live, so a lot of people probably catch playback.
Okay. That's
But
fine.
hello, chat. Hello, everyone out there in the YouTube world. This is QI Critical Thinking back in the building again, and today we have a very, very, very special interview and a very special storytelling session from Surviving and Winning, who is a survivor of breast cancer. Yes, that's right, a survivor of breast cancer, and she's here to tell her story about all of the things that she had to go through to get to the point of survival. And so she's gonna drop a lot of gems and things that's gonna help us make it through in terms of healthcare and a lot of different things. So surviving breast cancer. Well, give me just 1 minute. Salute, drunk again, Meek. I'm glad you're in the building. Hello, my friend, and all that entered. Okay, so surviving and winning. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Greetings, everyone. Um, I'm a 48-year-old woman and um, looking forward to turning 49. And I wanted to speak to people about this subject. I had a channel and I actually took a long time to, uh, I haven't really spoken about it on the channel because it's a very emotional experience. But I can't, it would be remiss for me not to share this experience with others because it could save your life. I wanted to start off with just telling people about checking their bodies. And I had spoken about how, breast cancer doesn't necessarily hurt. So you may feel a lump and it doesn't hurt. And sometimes, especially where mine was located, it just felt more like a lymph node. And then it started feeling like a chest muscle. And so I didn't really pay much attention to it because I didn't feel bad. I felt bad from other things, but I didn't feel bad like I had cancer. And what we must do is check our body and check it early. Check it the earlier you find it. So they recommend mammograms once a year. So if you have a primary physician that recommends that, go ahead and go. Um, One of the reasons I let mine go longer than it should was that one, it didn't hurt. Two, I had so many things I was trying to do. Three, I didn't have the health insurance I needed. Four, I really didn't see that that could happen to me because of the my diet and my exercise. It felt like a muscle. I exercise regularly, and I did not. Um, I was very conscious about the food that I ate, but I was not. I did not. I was not very aggressive about my health as far as getting sick because I wasn't used to being sick. And it's okay. And I was also kind of a workaholic. I did not want to take off work, and I felt pressured not to take off work. What I can say about that is if you don't take off work in the beginning, you're going to lose your job because if they don't allow you to go to the doctor, um, you're going to be in the doctor's office a lot more. So go ahead and get that exam. And if it seems like it's going to be a problem, find another job. The next thing I wanted to talk about is as far as detection. Um, if you feel like you don't have a primary care physician or you can't afford one, you can always go to the emergency room. And what I did, I went to the emergency room and I said, I'm having trouble breathing and I have a lump because I was having trouble breathing because the type of cancer I had, it was very aggressive and it was causing problems in my breathing. And that's where they found it. They did a CT scan there and they immediately rushed me to from the a local hospital to their regional hospital, and they went from there to more things. I would have to say that my cancer is very rare, but it was in the breast, and I did have to have a mastectomy eventually. Now, as far I did look up statistics, and 89.9% of women diagnosed will survive the 5 year period, but they are including people who got an early diagnosis. So you may feel like you can wait, and that is not the case. You can't wait. 89.9% of women who survive the 5 year period, you'd be surprised how much they have to go through just to survive that 5 year period and how many people in that percentage don't survive. But getting detected early is very important. Um, as far as the survival rates, um, I I did get statistics that 41,760 women are predicted to die this year from cancer. That's a lot of women, especially if the survival rate during early detection can be done. Because understand, I guess depending on the breast size, but I it's depending on the size, it's a large organ. So if you have a mastectomy and it hasn't gotten to any other parts of your body, if they take the breast, you have a high survival rate. I actually, my breasts were dense. They're small and they were dense breast tissue, and it was rare. So it it's patient to patient. I'm not a doctor. I can't make that kind of suggestion. The only thing I could suggest is that you can't treat cancer until it's detected. Um, and the things about and one of the things I wanted to also point out, I was scared. I was scared that I had cancer. I was so scared that I didn't want anyone to tell me. And the fear can be alleviated if you get a mammogram. The fear can be alleviated if you go to the doctor. The fear, um, the one thing that will not go away, your fear is going to stay there. The one thing that will not go away is cancer. It will not go away on its own. So I also, and so then I wanted to get into, because I have a background in finance and accounting and MBA, things like that. I wanted to talk about the cost of not doing this. because it can actually take all of any savings that you could possibly have away. You have to do this. That was the most important thing. That was the most thing the thing that shook me up more than anything was the high cost of medical care. You can actually, what I do is plan. I did not plan for this, and so I wasn't ready. And the reason I came on was because this platform was about women. I really, I have a great respect for QI and the way that she runs her platform, and I felt that she would draw the crowd that actually has that's serious about living and serious and has a very serious contribution to society. And I want to save as many women as I can.
Exactly. And thank you so much, for that compliment. And I commend you and honor you as well for what you're doing to help us as women.
And so I wanted to it just let you know the survival rate among breast cancer patients. And let me just give you my site. It works. It comes from cancer.gov, www.seer.cancer.gov. So if you ever looking at for things about cancer in other places, this is where I'm getting these stats from. The good news about breast cancer is your survival rate if you get detected early. Um, but it depends on whether it's localized, regional, or distant. And some people, they don't know where it came from. But if it's localized among the people who are diagnosed, if they were diagnosed while it was localized, they have a 37% chance of survival 5 years. And localized means they found it in the breast. Now, that doesn't mean that it doesn't come back. So that other statistic, that's people fighting and fighting and fighting over and over. And sometimes it recurs and comes back to the same spot. Sometimes it moves to the other breast, but it's still localized. Um, when people talk about metastasis, when it's regional or when it's distant. So when it's distant, it has gotten. I think regional, and I don't want to get this wrong, but I think regional is when it gets to the lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes are right under your armpit. They're in. It's near your breast, and so a lot of times when people are diagnosed, you'll find that they remove lymph nodes, and they still have a good diagnosis, but once it gets to your lymph nodes, it's trying to get into your bloodstream. It's trying to get into your lymphatic system. It's trying to spread throughout your body.
I have a quick question about that.
Okay.
Okay, so lymph nodes. So like, generally like sometimes I've known people who've gotten the little lymph nodes or whatever under their armpits as
hmm
children. So, could that be an indicator that, they, want to be very careful and cautious about, the possibility of getting breast cancer?
No, I had that when I was a child, and usually meant that I used soap or something that I didn't rinse off right, or I could have the flu. Like it, lymph nodes is a, and lymph nodes when they are swelling up is a sign that you have might have an infection, or it's just irritated. But
Hmm.
when you have cancer in the lymph nodes, they usually do a biopsy to discover that. Um, and a lot of times people will um, when they get a mastectomy that or they do a biopsy, they'll remove some lymph nodes. If they remove lymph nodes, you have a possibility of lymphedema. And lymphedema, I'm not really sure about that because I don't think I have it. But if you get a mastectomy in in your body or whatever side you get it. They won't take your blood pressure anymore because they think you'll get lymphedema. It I don't know that much about it, and perhaps if there's someone in the chat who has experienced it, that would be helpful if they came on. But so I don't want to go too far into it because I don't know enough about it.
Okay.
Um, my metastasis became distant, and so that's a 10%. Because I have a rare form of cancer, my chances are 25% over 5 years. It spread to my lung, and
Oh,
so I had surgery in March. So I've
sorry
had
about that.
um, uh, it's okay. Um, it's all in God's hands.
Right. And health
Yeah,
and
everything.
right.
Cause
I'm sorry.
go ahead. It's okay.
Do you recommend? I don't know what your diet is, but do you recommend a very healthy diet? Because, like me, now that I'm getting older, and because I've lost so many people due to various forms of cancer, I like I'm on. It's not a vegan diet, but it's a semi-vegan diet. Do you think that diets like that could help prevent cancer or help you through cancer?
It will help. Um, it'll probably help prevent certain types of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it didn't help me. But like I said, I have a sarcoma, so that is usually a a cancer that's genetic. So even when they kill those cells that cause the cancer, I'll just grow them back. Um, for other types of cancer, sometimes it's environmental, and it could be the food. It could be, I truly believe like this is an epidemic. It's why I'm speaking on it because I don't know. It seems like it's cell phones and all these extra rays of
Right.
radiation. The ozone layer disappearing, like a lot of different environmental causes, but I would highly encourage people to have a good diet because if you do get cancer, your organs are going to have to be healthy. Because the worst prognosis a doctor can tell me is that they they can't do anything because I'm too high risk. I had to um, for my lungs. Um, well, it was just one lung. They had to do some tests to see if they'll even do the surgery. So what you don't want them to say is we can't do anything because your body's not healthy. So always take care of your body. And that is for any ailment you can have, not just cancer. You want your body to be um as healthy as possible and hopefully healthy enough that you don't get anything. Um I know that when we're young, we don't feel the effects of what we eat. But you are definitely correct. You cannot prevent cancer, but you can definitely. There's nothing wrong with keeping your body strong, and we should be eating to live, not living to eat. If you have an emotional attachment to food, you should address that emotion because um, and it takes time, but food can become an addiction, and it's certain I think that you can actually get addicted to certain spices that are good for you. You can, if something is really good for your body, you will like it. So start trying to fix things that you like. Like for my parents, I'll fix them garlic and onions and green
Yeah.
peppers.
That's what
And
I eat raw. I eat garlic, onion, green peppers. I eat and like you said, spices, cayenne pepper, and I like olive oil extract. I am sort of like on the herbalist tip, but I still do eat chicken, in which I want to quit that, and fish.
the one thing that does kill cancer cells, a spice turmeric
Yeah,
has been proven, and the thing about turmeric, it doesn't have that much of a taste. Like you won't even know that you just put it on your food. I use that instead of paprika. And another thing, I'm trying to think the other why can't I think of that vegetable? But there's another vegetable that also kills cancer cells. I'll think of it in a minute. Oh, butternut squash. So
Butternut. Okay.
it's sweet for diabetics or people who are worried about their sugar. You should substitute um, sugar. If you're gonna have sugar, you should put cinnamon with it. So a lot of times people do that. And like I said, butternut squash is pretty sweet, so I would do that instead of sweet potato pie. Um, but there are things that you can do that can help, and that is the physical prevention. I was going to go into the financial prevention, and that's the insurance. If you have the money, um, I would try critical illness insurance. Um, what they do is they help with healthcare costs, so it offsets expenses. So if you get cancer, I don't care if you get platinum, they're going to tell you you need to pay 20%, 30%. Like you're going to have to pay something out of your
Okay.
pocket for cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And the issue is that a lot of times when you're diagnosed, the treatment and the just the treatment alone and the surgeries, you're going to be out of work. And how are you going to keep that insurance up? And in the state I live, it's at will. So they don't have to tell you that they let you go because you got sick. They just let you go.
Mm-hmm.
So you need an insurance. You need a because the worst thing you do is be out on the street sick,
Ooh,
trying to
right.
fend for yourself homeless. And I was going to speak on the, specifically on the black community where many of us don't have partners. Um, we need to figure out a way to stop doing that. I don't, it's not a, it's a thing of when you get that license, marriage license, and it's not about husband and wife or wife and wife. You need a partner, and when you get a license, usually the insurance company, and now that it's recognized in some states, is that when you do that, if one of you gets sick, you can still have the other person's insurance. And when we're out here by ourselves, especially women, black women, when we're out here by ourselves, we are very, very vulnerable. Um,
Mm-hmm. I agree.
and so that would be something I would bring up at another time. But we are more likely, black males we're more likely to be in prison, but we're more likely to be homeless and with children.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely got. I'm so glad you brought up that point, and that's why we got to find better ways and better systems, because we're not like like you were saying, it's better to be married. When you look at the ratio, and then you look at when you look at the ratio,
Right,
we're not guaranteed to have like males, black males. So,
right.
pretty much we're gonna have to find we're gonna have to find another way, around, or we're gonna have to fight the politicians and the government to, make things more lucrative, for our survival.
Yes, because we're out here by ourselves, just being swinging in the wind, and it's not it, and it's more. It wouldn't even be as bad if we were swinging in the wind by ourselves, but we're swinging the future generations around. These,
Right,
these
exactly.
children, I don't have any children, but I could only imagine if I had to do all this with children and them having that burden on them that they have to watch mommy get sick.
Mm,
So this is very, very important, and having money, financial prevention actually will help you get well, because hospitals can't tell you that they're discriminating against you. But if you don't have insurance, you're not going to get all of the coverage that other people get. And I was going to get to that later on in the slide. I was just trying to get like through the coverage amounts. So they have a choice of coverage amounts for critical illness, and it is also available for heart attack, strokes, and most forms of cancer. So, but I really wanted to get on that point because that took me down, and I was flourishing and thriving before this, and it has affected my medical care in not in a big way, but that's coming because many people feel like, well, if I get sick, I can just get disability. They don't work that way, and they're trying to take it away altogether. They won't take it away on paper because they're still collecting taxes for it. But the
Mm-hmm.
chances of you receiving it are so low that you need to have something else in place. Um, and I can say, like, my cousin, I can say, as far as disability, my cousin almost, well, he did pass away. He was terminal when he went to the hospital, and he before he could receive his first disability check, he was gone.
That's not the only case. I'm sorry for the interjection, but I really need to
Yes,
say
ma'am.
this. That's not the only case. My mom, it was the same. Likewise with my mom. That's why I was like, okay, no. I'm gonna go ahead. Since I qualify, I'm gonna go ahead and get it because of the simple fact that they're taking our money out of our checks and it's staying there for years, right? And then
Yeah.
you look at the when you look at the residual growth of our money, and then you turn around and look at that the average person in their 50s these days are dying, and most of the people that I know in their 50s these days, they had great jobs. I'm talking about corporate jobs. These were the baby boomers, and they're dying. So that's a great amount of disability money that's in that the government is walking away clean with, and 9 times out of 10 their children are grown. So they're not having to pay out that money. So there should be no reason why
Right.
they're even talking about they're going bankrupt or anything because of disability, because a lot of people are not able to even utilize or get their disability. I have an aunt and an uncle that worked all their lives. We talk about 14 and 30 years, right?
Right.
And my mom, she, like pretty much, 19 years on one job. I'm talking about all three. These are my family members, immediate family members, and none of them got a chance. My mom got one check, and the rest
Right.
of them didn't get a chance to get their check. Now imagine all of that money, and imagine the interest from all that money that was accumulated, and just think about the massive amount of people in their 50s these days that are passing away and things due to healthcare or whatever, and they're not able to get and they're not able to get that disability. The government is getting over us like on us like a fat cat, and we're not looking into it. We're just pretty much believing what they're saying. Hey Christy Love, I'm sorry, but you can go ahead. I just want to make that point.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because basically the last time that I looked at it, they had Medicare, and then disability, then they had Social Security they were taking out. So all of your Social Security money that you're supposed to get in retirement, if you get critically ill, you don't get that money. So it goes back into somebody's pockets, and I,
And
under the present administration, what they're doing is that they want to appoint the disability judges. So that what
mm-mm,
that means now is, even if they don't get that ruled in, um, the disability judges right now are just like you and me. They want to keep their jobs. So the more cases that they turn down, the more likely they won't be replaced. So they're going to make all kinds of excuses. So that's why I thought it was important, because you need to get that insurance, in case you are one of those people that get diagnosed out of the blue, but you have to go to the doctor to get diagnosed. But you need to know if you're sick, because by the time you get too sick to work, it's too late. They don't want to give you insurance if you're already sick. They don't, and you won't even have the money for it. And if you, the way the disability is running, by the time you, they're gonna turn you down. And by the time your case comes up, you may not even be here, especially if it's cancer. People don't, they
Right.
give you a 5-year plan. And I can tell you my when I had my lung surgery, they have to, it is a very invasive surgery. They have to break your ribs. They have
Mm.
to get to your lung. They deflate one lung and leave the other one going, and that's an expensive surgery. So I was in ICU and stepped down ICU. I was in ICU for a day, stepped down ICU for 2 days, back in ICU. I was in the hospital for almost 2 weeks. $75,000.
You're strong too. I have to commit. You are strong.
I appreciate that. That this is nobody has can raise $75,000 in 2 weeks. So you really need to have insurance on something, and you cannot rely on the government. I mean, we can enact laws, we can go down and we can march. The ones of us who are alive and healthy and have the ability to do so, we have to vote. I don't know why the decision not to vote was made so popular, but I do know why. But I'll keep
You
that
know
to
why?
myself. I
We
do
know
know why.
why. Hmm.
But you really need to do that, so that you do have insurance, so that you even have the money to buy the insurance that you're going to need. But you have to be proactive about this and not just feel like um it's just happening to somebody else, because cancer does not hurt until they start treating you. I remember my mom said, well, she has cancer but her hair hasn't fallen out yet. No, your hair is not going to fall out till you get treatment.
Right.
You know, I
That's
don't.
the chemo and the chemo that makes your hair fall out.
And I didn't get chemo, but I can say that even with that, everybody who gets chemo needs disability. They're saying is, if you get chemo and it doesn't expect to hurt you over a year, then you are not qualified as disabled. But what I want to know, and it takes a couple, like 18 months to get a decision. I want to know how many people out here can live 18 months without a job. That's what I want to know. That's the first thing. And
Right.
how many people can afford to pay hospital bills without insurance or a job, or an ability to pay for the medicine, because all of this is very, very expensive.
Right.
And I don't want to like dominate the discussion or anything.
No, go roll with it. You teaching us.
But as far as the impact on Black women, we lead uh, breast cancer deaths in the United States. I
We
don't
live
know how.
in
I
that.
don't know. We are a minority leading breast cancer deaths. We are a
Well,
minority
I'm gonna say.
leading.
I'm just gonna say this: we're not really a minority in terms of
Uh,
number,
we're a minority in terms of in the United States,
economic, economic.
but yeah, well, economically, but as far as in the world, we're not a minority. We are a majority. But per capita in the United States, we lead in breast cancer. I guess we may disagree on whether minority sounds minor. So if I was to add, if we could say, well, what do we consider Black and what do we consider white, then we are a majority. Okay, so you got Hispanic, non-Hispanic, Indian, Pacific Islander, you know. So if we say people of color, I don't know. We have trouble like defining ourselves.
Yeah. Well, we don't like actually like. Okay. Whew.
I didn't mean to get into that
No,
part.
no, no.
But
I'm gonna go
I
ahead. Yeah, there are a few people that would like to call in. So let me know when I can open the phone lines. But I just want to say this real quick on that subject. Okay, they're like they fool us. that we're
Okay.
a minority in terms of number to
Okay.
manipulate us, about our power. We're
Okay.
actually, like in number wise, we're actually the majority, and I'm talking about people of color. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and we're actually the majority, and it speaks for us. Like it's like, when you really think about it, it's common sense, but they play mind games on us to make us feel like we're not as great as number. If all of us was to vote for one candidate in the United States, we would win by a landslide, no doubt, and they know that. And they know our power, and they know the power in our numbers. Therefore, they always want to manipulate us. They teach a lot of the stuff that they teach us or tell us are actually opposite from what it is, because they want us to remain inferior. Like, because if we knew like we were the majority, we like if people actually knew that we were the majority, then they would know that, like, no doubt the power, because there's power in numbers. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I no, I appreciate the critique. I'm looking at the statistics based on this data.
Based on
And
their,
I
uh-huh.
Yeah, on their data and on black, and I was using it to prove a point as to how disparaging it is for us to have this many number of deaths, and we are not the people who have the most occurrences of breast cancer. We are the ones who have the most deaths, and I think, well, many of it is economical, and some of it can be due to our treatment, our care after we're diagnosed, and
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 ignorant.
that
That's
there's
why
a
we say ignorance. We're ignorant to a lot of things, like, and we would like to remain ignorant. We don't look into things, like, we don't, because, like, okay, I have family members. I've always looked into healthcare and all this kind of stuff, and I have family members, and that, my family members. It's like I would tell them things, but they wouldn't want to know. Okay. And so, like, a lot of times, we spend too much time not looking at the stuff that really matters, like learning about our bodies, learning about how to maintain and take care of our bodies. And therefore, like, therefore, and even in times of illnesses, a lot of things that the doctors say, and doctors have said this out of their own mouth, goes over a lot of people's heads, and they're afraid to ask questions. You have to
okay.
ask questions, and you have to stay informed about everything. Don't let somebody just tell you something and you walk off and not understand it, or you walk off and, first of all, just believe it. Go get second, third opinions, and, look into it yourself, because, there are a lot of cases of misdiagnoses as well.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, well, there was someone else that would say she would like to call in if she
Are you ready?
if,
I can go ahead and open the phone lines.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, family, in the chat and everything that wanted to call in, I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. So feel free to call in at this time. Give me just a moment. Give me about 2 or 3 seconds right here, and we'll be ready. You can, if you would like, you can go ahead and continue to talk. While
Okay.
I'm gonna try to mute out so that all this noise won't interfere.
Okay. I'll go ahead. Yeah. Um.
Give me just a moment.
Yeah. So, yeah, the biggest thing that I was seeing, in going through the things that I have gone through is that I was unaware of a lot of these things because I was so busy working all the time, and I knew I paid a lot in taxes because I was single with no children. I was given at least 25% of my income, which is usually, like, if you work a 40-hour a week, is all of your Monday and 2 hours of your Tuesday for free.
All right.
So,
Oh, just a moment, Jackie. How you doing, caller? Ended in 1930. How are you
Oh,
doing?
hi. This is no. I just asked could I call in. My story is a little bit different from your guest. Right now, I am 63 years old. I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer at the age of 57, so I've been free for almost 8 years. Um, what I did for one, I strongly believe the reason why African American women are coming up with cancer more is because of our environment. And that has a lot to do with the food that we eat, the ground, how the food is, because we financially can't buy the best, so we get these foreign things in our body and it causes havoc, for one. But my breast cancer, like your guest said that she didn't have pain. I had pain. I had it felt like something hot poking me in my breast, and it was horrible, and it just felt like something would shoot through my breast. And how I found my lump was in the shower, and when you soap up your body, you could feel all your lumps. Now I'm a full figure woman, so we all have lumps and bumps, but this one was just a little bit different. It was a little small one. By the time I got checked, because you have to go through everything with the insurance company and then responding, and by the time I went through all the red tape, that the size of it was about as big as a $50, and it protruded out of the top of my right breast. I was blessed where I didn't have to have my breast removed. I had a lumpectomy. They were able to gut out my breast and get all the cancer out, and plus he removed a lot of lymph nodes. And because it was in my nodes, I had to take chemo. So I took chemo and radiation, and it took 2 years for me with chemo because chemo strips your immune system, and I ended up in the hospital with infections. And when you're sick, you cannot do chemo. Am I? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Can you hear her?
Okay, I just want to make
I
sure
can
that.
hear her. Yes.
So I had it removed. I was blessed. I was working at the time. And one thing that God had gave, you always pray for wisdom. When you pray for wisdom. Don't pray for things. Because wisdom will give you know how to strategize, to go through and do different things so that you can have wealth. And one of the things the Lord always told me when I was working, get extra disability, get the top that they're allowing you to have, not just the short-term disability, get the top that you can have with long-term disability. And that's what I did. And sad to say that my job, when I got diagnosed, I had the surgery. I came home, I still had tubes in my breast. And don't you know, after 12 and a half years of being a faithful and a striving employee and received awards for it, that didn't mean a darn thing. They got rid of me.
Yeah, that's what
They got rid of me. So I
that's
ended up with Cobra. I ended up with Cobra, and I was able to be able to have a Cobra, and I was able to have the disability because I took out the extra insurance for disability. Okay, so I went through everything: the chemo, the radiation. I ended up suffering from
post
PTSD
traumatic stress
from the
disorder. Yes.
chemo. Yes, from the chemo. While I was going through everything, I was fine. When I finished with the radiation, I started having anxiety attacks. It was hard for my body to get back from all the medications that they had me on, for me to nurse my health back and everything. It was just horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And as far as lymphedema, I did not get the lymphedema. Lymphedema has a lot to do with when the lymph nodes that are removed and you get a lot of swelling and like water in the hands and stuff like that. But what I do have is complete numbness underneath the armpit. I have no feeling whatsoever underneath my right armpit from then removing the cancer tumor. But I strongly believe that the food that we eat in our environment has a lot to do. The water that we drink, we're finding lead. I live in northern New Jersey. Okay, Newark. I'm not too far. I'm 20 minutes away from Newark. Newark, their water end up being bad like Flint. The water that we drink,
Right.
all these foreign things that we put in our body, and everything. The government is doing all kind of stuff to us, and the poorer neighborhoods are the ones that suffer. And then we are the ones that don't have the medical insurance to take care of us. I'm blessed where I had the insurance. I'm blessed that I was able to go to one of the top 10 cancer places. I went to Cancer Treatment of America, the one that they have on television that
Yeah,
they advertise.
I
They
heard
took
good
care of
things
me.
about
I
them.
didn't have to send bills. They had people that donated. They had. I was able to. I didn't have to worry about bills. You know, my insurance paid for my transportation. I live in Patterson, New Jersey. They paid for me to take the Amtrak train
To
all the way to Philadelphia, and then
mm,
a limo would come and pick me up. The hospital will
wow,
have a limo come and pick me up.
wow.
I was blessed to be able to have all of that, because I had good insurance
Right.
and took the Cobra. Okay, but when I was having the pain in my breast in the lump, my doctor told me, "Oh, cancer doesn't hurt." That's not true. Everybody's story is different. It depends where it's at. Because what happened was too, the tissue, the tumor was growing. When it was growing, it was pushing out tissues and organs. So I was having the pain from it growing.
Oh,
And that's what was causing the pain of it getting bigger and stretching the tissue in and my breast. And it was cancer, regardless of what it is a horrible, horrible experience. So I tell women, when they reach about in their early 20s, to go get checked.
mm-hmm.
Because I had a radio show, and I had a woman on my platform that had gotten cancer, breast cancer, at the age of 27.
Wow.
So
Well,
that is to show you that the ages are dropping down. People be like 40 and over. No, no, people are coming up with all kinds of cancer. And it ran in my family. And I have two cousins that ended up with it. And then I have an uncle that ended up with breast cancer. My mother's brother ended up with breast cancer. So cancer has no name, it's like having a bullet. When it attacks the body, it attacks the body. It's no sex, doesn't matter what sex you are.
mm-hmm. You're right. Well,
And
caller, I'm glad that you called in, and just stay right there on the line. Today, like we're learning surviving and winning to tell her whole story. I hope you come back in. Contact me by email on the screen, and I want you to be able to tell your story as well. But let surviving and winning. What do you think about, what do you have any thoughts on that, or, go ahead and continue, but you can stay on the line, caller. You can stay on the line, caller.
no, I'll come off, and I'll still be in the class watching.
Yeah, there might be some other interaction, so feel free to call back in. I just want her to be able to finish everything that she came on to, say.
Yes, I understand. I understand.
I want to just really acknowledge her. I really appreciate hearing from her. And if she wants to come back on and finish, I totally welcome it.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to minimize her pain
Oh,
in any way, and I don't think she took it that way.
yeah. I just
The reason
yeah.
I was saying that is because I didn't have will think that they don't have breast cancer because they don't have pain. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, so I want to, and I loved her story. Um, I can tell that she's been through some things, and stage 3, yeah, she would feel it. Stage 0, some people don't feel anything and they catch it early. So when you do feel pain, a lot of times it's getting bad, and I am so thankful that she was able to get the assistance to be surviving and winning. And I love to hear her story because it's an inspiration to me.
Well, yeah, yeah. I want her to. I just didn't want to be fair. Now I would
I
like
understand.
if y'all could dialogue together, that would be great. If she can call back in and y'all dialogue together.
Yes, ma'am. That would be fine if she wants to call back in. And if anybody who has breast cancer would call in, it helps me not just to tell my story, but to listen to other people's story because one thing about this disease, I feel alone, so it's just me and YouTube because I'm in the bed all day. Um, one of the reasons that I wanted to do the live as soon as possible is because my body will shut down. Um, yeah, I'll have energy one day and then I won't have energy the next,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
sorry.
and,
I understand.
and but no, it's no problem. I enjoy listening to her, but it it does actually, it helps us when we can talk about it or when we feel up to talking about it
Mm-hmm.
because it gets it off and
Yes.
it makes you not feel so alone in the story, and then you're still helping other people too.
Okay. Well, see, I just wanted to like I was like, okay, so
No,
how you gonna make this work?
no, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're
Yeah,
fine. You're very
interesting.
considerate.
I liked her
Very
story.
considerate.
Yeah. Let me I like your story. I like your story, but like I was like, okay, well, I don't want, one to outweigh
No,
the other. But
no, it's no problem.
No,
like
buy it. I didn't defend it.
so
I don't buy it.
so let me
No,
tell
I'm
you,
good. I didn't
I got
defend
you.
it.
So let me go ahead and tell you the way we can make this work is y'all can go ahead and feed off of each other. Since y'all are the experts, y'all can go ahead and feed off of each other. If y'all can, if that's possible. I mean, it's possible. I'm saying, y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes, man. Yeah.
So I'm watching on my phone, and I called in on my phone, and I don't think it's gonna allow me to do both.
No,
But
what I mean is y'all talk, y'all communicate.
I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by her story. I'm still on disability because of all the side effects from the chemo. A lot of side effects from the chemo. So I'm still on disability. And at the age that I am at now, I don't even mind being on disability because I'm in my mid 60s and it's not easy to find a job right now. So me being of that age, so me being collecting disability is fine, you know. But I'm gonna tell you what it did affect on me, ladies, and this is something that you have to try to keep up before even now happens. The chemo did something to my bones, and because it did something to my bones,
Yes.
it did something to my teeth are bones. I lost all my upper teeth. They were loosening
Mm.
from the mouth. Did that to me. So I lost all my top teeth. Okay. So, and not only that, I had a back injury. And because
Mm.
chemo with the bones again, it made my back worse. So now I have a problem standing for a long period of time and sitting for a long period of time, which also puts me on disability. So chemo had big side effects. I was able to beat the cancer. Our last test that I had was in March. Now I go every year. Before it was every 3 months, every 6 months, every 9 months, and then every year. And I am still clean. Praise God, praise Jesus, that I'm still cancer free. But I
Oh,
still
yes.
battle the after effects of chemo.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I think that a lot of people, if you say you're cancer free, the thing that I get the most is more like, okay, they want me back to the person I used to be, and uh, parts of my body are gone, and even mentally, I can't go back to the person I used to be. Some
I am
people can come with me to the person I become, but I'm not there anymore. It's almost like a part of me died, and it might not have been the worst. I mean, it might not have been the best part of me. The best part of me might be now. But when people remember me before, they are thinking that I'm that same person now, and I have to watch. It's weird.
What I can do to encourage you is, for one, go seek mental help. I go see a therapist. Like, because you
Yeah,
had a body part removed, okay?
yeah.
And has a lot always psychic, psychologically with you. You need to get the help. Also, as far as your body feeling better, take a multivitamin, and not just any multivitamin. Take prenatal vitamins. You can get it at Walgreens, CVS, the kind that the women take when they're pregnant. Take prenatal vitamins.
Okay,
And get the turmeric in the pill, and turmeric and black pepper both in the pill.
okay.
Also, you have to take vitamin D. That's a must. Vitamin D is a must.
Mhm.
And my anxiety is losing sleep. If you're losing sleep, you're going to have to take
Melatonin.
melatonin. And the reason for that is that when your body is sleeping, that's when it heals. If you're not getting good sleep, your body won't heal. It's like a newborn baby. You know how they sleep all the time and they
Mm-hmm.
just grow and grow? Well, our body, and then not only that, when people are very sick, they have to be put into an induced coma, because while you sleep, the body, God made it so that it could generate itself.
I have a
Make sure
question.
that you get proper sleep.
I have a question about the
And
vitamin D,
I'm
right
sorry.
quick. That's okay. And then you can go on. Before I forget, or before you forget. Like with the vitamin D, what specific one? Because it's like vitamin D3, vitamin, and I'm starting to get confused with that. So which vitamin D do
Yeah.
you recommend?
Well, for a while, when you go to the doctors and they do a blood work, when they do a complete blood work on, find out what your vitamin D level is. When
Okay.
you're able to find out what vitamin D level is, then you'll know what what's it called, whatever it is, the number
Right.
is. But
Right.
when you have had cancer, when you have cancer, vitamin D is supposed to be every day in your regimen. It's
Well,
a must,
I do it
because
anyways.
that yeah, it's a must, and you get up to was it 5,000 or something like that, and then just take that prenatal vitamin. And QI, are you in your 40s?
Yeah, I'm in my late 40s.
Okay, you're gonna have to start preparing for your bones, osteoporosis and stuff like that. You're gonna have to take a good vitamin, even if it's prenatal vitamins. Prenatal vitamins is the best thing for you. It
Okay.
has everything that's needed in it.
Well, I do take
And you
vitamin.
don't,
I do take vitamins. I do take vitamins like I do vitamin A. What is it? I don't have it here in front of me. A, D, E right now, and I do ginkgo biloba, and I do like I do a lot of herbal products as well. But I'm glad you said
right.
prenatal
When you
because I
finish, when you finish those A, B's and all that other stuff, the B12 and all that other stuff, when
mhm,
you finish that, go to prenatal vitamins only.
okay, okay,
That that nourishes a mother when she has that child and everything. Prenatal. See, when I was the Cancer Treatment of America, the nutritionists told us what to do,
yeah, and
and they walked
Mhm.
us through it.
I mean, it makes sense
But
because when you have all those therapies, they're killing your cells that you have to grow back, and so you're like growing back like a baby. Like you're growing your hair
yeah,
back, and you grow. It makes sense. And vitamin D, they say that some cancers like a vitamin D deficiency. I don't know if that's true or not, but
vitamins. And you know what else cancer loves? Sugar. It
yeah,
thrives for sugar, but it's white
yeah,
sugar. White sugar means your body no good. So that white sugar does something into with the cells, and then the cancer starts to eat it, just like we eat. If you have too much sugar in your system, you'll start developing a yeast problem, regardless if it's vaginally or in your stomach. You will develop a yeast problem. And I learned all that from the nutritionist.
but the other thing is when you're getting your CT scan and they do it with contrast. what they're doing is they're putting sugar inside your. That's why they ask you if you're diabetic. They're putting sugar inside your veins, and they can tell if you're cancerous. They call it hot because cancer cells will take up. It'll eat up the sugar faster than your
Yeah,
regular cells,
I
and that's what it grows off of. That's why they say that about sugar.
yeah, yeah, it thrives off the sugar. So, yeah, and you know, I can only tell the people that are listening, try to go back to what grandma and great grandma did. Make your bread. It's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. If it's that hard for you, then you need to eliminate it. But I make my own bread now. It takes
You
me
may,
10 minutes to make my own bread. And not the bread in the store where it has the preservative so it lasts, a week and stuff like that. You got to start trying to feed yourself the vegetables, the best that you can, because you can't escape all of it because it's the soil is crap where it's grown at. It's still that poison still enters your body, but you could try to curb it a little bit. You know, if it's financially with your food and eating your food, listeners, try to find food pantries in your area. Food pantries in your area, they get live food, meaning like, the fruits, the vegetables and stuff like that. They get it, and you go there and get that. You get that. It's free. They have these things for you. And I'm about to open up a channel regarding, my life reality after chemo because I had to learn how to do my hair because I lost all my hair.
mm,
All my hair, I got bald, and I didn't know how I put a wig on. It would zoom around my head like a pot, So it's like whatever that you did to be able to get over to the other side and get through it. I tell people to share it because your testimony and your story will help somebody else.
I appreciate that. I really do. So, I mean, it's very helpful, and even for the people in the chat who haven't gone through this before, um, they may, and even people not in the chat in the playback, you may find that there are going to be people who um, who Google this and look up breast cancer survivor, and they're going to be impacted by your story. And I am surely impacted by your story because I need to hear from people who learn how to make it through. And I do need. I feel like I have
And
PTSD. I really do feel like I have a post traumatic stress disorder because it's so much stuff. Yeah.
you need to see a therapist. I tell anyone in general, everybody needs to see a therapist. If you saw a therapist and got some of that stress off, we wouldn't be having heart attacks and all this other stuff that would be hitting our bodies and maybe a cut down on people trying to hurt other people. But you should be seeing a therapist. Your body
Yes.
has not have adjusted mentally, hormonally because you had a mistake. So you need to I'm just speaking that it would be great for you to go see a therapist. I see one every 2 weeks, and I swear by it. Because my body goes through side effects from having chemo, and talking about medication from oxycodone, morphine, all this stuff that my body was on because of the pain.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
mine was
So,
pain, and it causes mental pain because it causes such an imbalance in the physical body, and it affects you mentally. Honey, go see a therapist. Your insurance will pay for it. And if it doesn't pay for 100%, why, whoever you go, they do have charity care. So what your insurance doesn't pay, charity care will pick up for it. No, you don't need to suffer like this. You shouldn't be able to feel alone.
Yeah.
No, 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 that's not fair to you. That's not fair to you, and that's not fair to yourself. Get the help that you need, and don't be ashamed. And if there's people that you have to cut off for you to have your sanity, then you do it. Pick up a hobby, open up a YouTube channel because there's other people that are like you and they're reaching out. And just like you're a blessing right now, me and others that will be tuning in now, and those that listen on the replay, you give
Yeah.
ways that you could just let all this out. And it won't cost you anything other than your time. There is help out there.
Well, I appreciate it, and I thank you very much. It helped me a lot to share this on the platform for people who have gone through, who have, with people who have gone through it, and as well as people who have not gone through it yet. Because the reality is that there's a possibility that these people on the platform, who don't have it yet, will go through it, and we will be the forerunners, and as the better we get, the better we can help them get. So I appreciate your support, and um, everyone who's supporting, and I'm trying to support at the same time. That's what women's empowerment is about.
Facts, 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 facts,
Right.
facts.
And just food for thought. Think about what I said, because believe me, that if you have, you will get the support. You just need to know where to go and what to do.
Yes,
That's all. You'll
I
get the
appreciate. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
therapist, yeah, get the therapist, and they will lead you down the other road and you helping.
And
Oh no,
and
you don't have to deal with this alone, sweetheart. You do not have to deal with any of this alone.
yeah, and we could do this more often and stuff to collaborate and to push both of your channels. We could pick either, a day every other week or whatever, to push your channels because like just like, she just said, just like surviving. I'm learning something from both of y'all, especially the diet changes because like a lot of people don't know that a lot of the food and a lot of the stuff that we're putting in our body now causes the cancer, and especially when you brought up the white sugar. See, I've cut the white sugar, and now I do the raw organic sugar cane, but I'm not so sure if that's even better.
Well, it's a start somewhere. It's a start, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just taste it.
Well, I
Right?
do
I
it.
just taste it.
And then, like you said, the bread, you was like, go back to baking regular your own bread. Well, I cut bread completely out
Yeah.
of my life. The only thing that I do is like I do the tortillas, like if I just have to have a sandwich, or like I'll do the grain bread, like the 15 grain bread.
Uh-huh. But yeah, go back, man. I'm telling you, I learned to do bread. It takes me 15 minutes to do homemade bread. I do it at night. I put it together at night. It takes me really less because I do it so fast. And then I wake up in the morning because the bread has to rise. And it rises, and I take it, mold it the way I want it and stick it in the oven. And believe me, it tastes better than that store bought.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
You
longer
know,
too.
you like biscuits, do your own biscuits. It's only three ingredients to make biscuits: milk, and you get self-rising flour and some lard. That's all it takes, and the recipe is right on the bag. So it really and fresh vegetables get frozen or fresh, if
Fresh,
not
yeah.
frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying don't eat canned because there's usually storage place let you have a big freezer. But try to move a little bit less away from preservatives. And lunch meat, you got to cut lunch meat out altogether. Lunch meat.
Oh, that's
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 go.
real hard because it's like
Oh, it tastes good, but it's bad.
and
Lunch
what do
meat
you
got
eat
to
in a
go.
what do you eat on the run? And see, that goes back to like how the way we work today compared to, see, the reason why I think a lot of
Yeah.
people, the 50-year-olds are getting cancer and stuff these days and dying is well, are not even necessary. I don't want to even say dying, but are getting 40 are getting cancer is because of, the fact that that's the baby boom, the working class. Because before then, I can remember my grandma and them being off on weekends, and they're them getting off at decent hours. But we moved into like
Of
sort of
course,
like an
of course,
industrial type of situation
because
where
we live in a fast, right? We live in a fast-paced world, so we all have this microwave mentality. Everything has got to be quick. You don't have time. You don't have time. But you could curb that. If you like spaghetti, like the squash, eat spaghetti squash. That's a meal within itself. When you're single, you could do things a little more on your own than what it is with a family.
facts.
Yes.
You could just you could come home and say, I want to eat a bowl of cereal and that's it. You know, but and one thing you have to stay away from is toy products. Toy
Yeah.
women, women, especially African American women, that is not good. That does something to the estrogen in your body. If you're on birth control pills, there's so much connected to that. Do not
But
take soy. Almond milk is good. Rice milk, believe it or not, is very good. And then you can make your own rice milk. You make it out of rice. Whatever you don't know how to do, YouTube it.
Well, look,
And you can make,
why don't you come on? Get my email, but by all means, come on and let's just do a session about healthy eating because
I'm sure.
yeah,
yeah,
because
Right?
huh?
you can save some lives for real.
Yeah, because healthy, because like we gotta know that the food is like the way we eat is causing us health issues, and we need
Oh yeah,
alternatives.
it's definitely, and it's happening more in the poorer sections because they don't give us, the supermarkets don't give us grade A food like they do in the more wealthy areas.
Right,
We get grade C and D, and all that affects our body.
and if
Even red meat, my stomach doesn't even digest red meat anymore.
I don't
I
eat
get
it,
so sick, I automatically throw it up.
and red meat,
It won't.
a lot of red meat and stuff like that causes colon cancer because it does not digest and it just
Right.
it sits in there. It sits in there.
And they put a red dye on it to make it look like it's fresh.
And
So
then
that's the chemical that's going in our body.
right, and then a lot of the USDA, the government, and all of these people are so greedy to the fact that they're not even properly. They know a lot of this stuff is harmful. They're allowing a lot of these farmers and stuff to shoot things up with steroids and all kinds of different products to mass produce on a fast level. It's just a lot of things that's going on.
Yes.
And it's all out of greed.
And they'll recycle it. They'll recycle something that's supposed to come off the shelf. They'll pump it up with something and recycle it and put it back to sell it.
Right.
Where it really should be going in the garbage.
Right. So, and that's like that's why I'm glad y'all came on with this topic, because it spirals into everything that we've been talking about. Just like surviving and winning was bringing up the health care issues and the insurance issues. And see, this is one of the biggest reasons why we as women need to, we need to, get more conscious, get more, like unified in terms of fighting for these issues that are impacting us every day. Because we don't just like they were like it's a lot of things milk and a lot of dairy products cause fibroids. It's a lot of things out here that are causing us health issues, and we need to bring it to the forefront, because as long as we sit back and we're doing things that does not matter, we're going to continue to have earlier and earlier illnesses, terminal illnesses, and possibly pass away at early ages.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're growing a nation. Women grow the nation.
Facts. So when you take out the woman, you're taking out the nation. And I preach that all the time. I'm preaching that all the time.
Yes, and too.
I'm preaching that all the time, and I'm preaching that all the time. But it's still like I'm just gonna keep carrying it on. It's still going dead to a lot of ears in this sector, but I'm gonna keep carrying on because they don't understand the impact, and a lot of them are not gonna understand until it hits home.
And then they'll press replay, and that's fine. I mean, because everybody's going through different stages in their life. They learn at this sometimes we have to push them along a little faster because you don't want to die before you learn. So a topic like cancer and preventing it, you just got to throw that in the forefront, and we deal with the other problems they have later. But they won't even live to have those problems because if you can't get past healthcare, and they're trying to take that healthcare away,
Right.
and for people not paying attention.
That's why we need to vote.
Right. And we need to, like, I'm gonna have politics. I got politics coming up too. I'm trying to work on one little sector at a time. This is somewhat like the healthcare sector. Healthcare
Yeah.
sector now have Women Empowerment Wednesday where we cover everything. But I'm working on like bringing in a various of different topics to educate. But let me read this comment real quick from Gentle Film Grinding. This is a good one. She said cucumber in water for alkaline, ginger root and turmeric tea cures so much. We got all we need without a store, right? Because our ancestors, like medicine comes from the earth, medicine comes from the plants, even the medicine that they mass produce. They're getting a lot of the ingredients from the plants. Like Novocaine comes from the sweet gum tree, and like milk thistle
Right.
and dandelion that helps with liver damage. It helps prevent.
And if you're able to identify the dandelion and its leaves, in the ground,
Yeah,
you can put that out in your backyard. Because I've done it.
Oh,
Up in the backyard, washed it very well, took that dandelion, that yellow flower,
with the
took
little
it
blow
with
leaves.
and boiled it in water
Mm-hmm.
and drank.
yeah.
Yeah, that is
So there's
very
things that
identical.
you really can.
It's one of the most
And the same
identical
thing with mint. The
dandelion.
green mint, all that too.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in some water and your lemon water, your cucumber water. There's so much that you could do to help out. You're not going to eliminate everything because the ground that it's grown in is horrible and it's infected.
Right.
So you can have over at least 30 to 35% of the stuff that goes in your body, which can add another year to your health.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm definitely working
And I'm
on
telling you,
now.
when I was going to the cancer center, they gave me medicinal marijuana.
Yeah. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, compared to the medication, I
They
think it's
gave me
better for
that.
you.
They
Well,
gave
if you
me
grow it yourself or you know
and there's
how,
so much that you can do.
you know what's in it. But like what I agree upon is that um
Oh,
the
also,
prevention is
and I'm
every
going
so
to chat and listen. I'm going to put my great grandson to sleep, but I'm
Okay.
going to be listening in.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
yes,
Questions
ma'am.
that
Thank you so much.
Go ahead, surviving.
I was, as we were what I was seeing is that some of these things I had heard of before, so it gives validation to what the caller was saying. I would love for her to do, to come on alive and share that with everybody. Because when I speak about what they're doing and what they're taking away, I'm not saying it out of like standpoint. What I'm saying is that we just can't rely on it. What we do need, we're going to try to preserve our society as much as we can, but by the legislation and laws. But while we're doing that, at the same time, we have to say this is going away. How are we going to be self-sufficient? And let them, while they're trying to kill us off, let them go ahead and rely on, and we don't. Give us stuff
Right.
that grows out of the ground that cures every ailment that we will ever need. And the only way they could get it
And
is out of the ground. And they might add poison to it to keep us just
right.
well enough to keep buying it, but
Depending.
not well enough to be cured. So this is
The people
this is a great discussion, and this is actually saving lives. This is you'll be Dr. QI critical. Dr. Q. You'll be the
but yeah,
pharmacist.
yeah.
But we
I realized that myself that that's why I'm more like the alternative medication compared to the doctors, because I like when we wake up and realize that they're making money off of the healthcare industry, and it's one of the biggest money making industries, that's like big pharma. Then we will realize that they're not in the business to cure us. They're in the business of keeping us coming back for as long as they possibly can, or maximizing their profit. So when we realize that and realize that, like it's a part of our culture and the things that our ancestors did. Our ancestors didn't have doctors. They relied on themselves, and they knew the plants that heal. They knew the medicinal herbs and the medicinal plants that heal. And we taught them. And that's how they learned. But we forgot. And we stopped doing things on our own, and we started depending on them. And pretty much because we got in a fast-paced society where it
right.
was quick just to go pay a little money and do it to them. But we're gonna have to slow ourselves down, because all of this stress, all of this fast pace, all of this stuff is annihilating us as a race. And if we want to be here, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to make some changes, and we're gonna have to get real serious about it.
I agree. And
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 let me
I, I
go
and
ahead.
I just wanted to say, my mom is like 84 years old. She said, like when she was growing up, they didn't know anything about cancer, and as long as they were keeping us out of their restaurants, we didn't have it either.
Right.
Well, we had our own cleaning products, and so what you're gonna find is that a lot of your cleaning products have chemicals that they didn't want to throw away, so they just threw it in what they call soap. That's where soap opera, that word came from, is people watch soap operas and the commercials were about cleaning products because the women stayed at home and learned to clean off of that. But if you go back to the basic vinegar, borax, and baking soda, you'll be just fine on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it cleans like a high industrial cleaning product without the smell, without the toxins. So
You're right. We sniff that. We sniffing that bleach and all that kind of stuff, and that's what's giving us these sinuses and the allergy problems and stuff like that. And we love us some good old what's that, fabulosa, and that stuff is got so much
no,
it's got so many chemicals in there that is causing us harm. You are exactly right. And I'm writing down all of this stuff because guess what? I'm trying to practice a healthy alternative lifestyle, and I'm implementing a lot of these things into my life because I want to be here, and then I want to teach, my niece and different people behind me how to be here as well. We trying to survive. And let me just take one quick minute, surviving, just to read this comment from Gentle Film Grinding. She said, "Life promotes life. Live foods give us life," and that is exactly right. Raw, live, or raw and organic. Breathing greens picked from consumption is a gift from God. Dandelions, roots, tree leaves, all of it. Marshmallows was originally made from tree sap. Exactly. Yes, indeed.
all right. Now that's nice. So
Yeah, this has been a great live, and it was very informative. Now I'm gonna tell you, like I know for a fact because I was watching a lot of like the popular YouTubers went live, so we did not get the amount of. We may get some people on the replay or whatever, but sometimes people retentive level is low, and I think we have a call. Do we have a call? I thought I heard a call, but
I heard so.
yeah, I heard something too. But like we're definitely gonna have to do this again, do a part two or whatever, and maybe try to pick a time, and hope that nobody else goes live because this is very important. And I do want to get these messages out, because the way it was covered today, and I thank you so much, Surviving and Winning. It was covered from not just a woe is me perspective. It was covered with preventive. We were talking about how to prevent, how to sustain, and the things that we need to do where we can get rid of our situation. So I really, yes, TC, you go ahead and Colin, let me put the number up. We really like we really need to keep this going in terms of health, because it is the thing that's most detrimental to us as as people of color in the United States.
I appreciate it as well.
Now give me TC is about to call in, so bear with us just a moment. She has great
Well, I would let her come in, and if I could go back into the chat, or
okay.
I'll just mute myself. I don't mind.
So, yeah, you can mute yourself because she may have some questions for you. You are the
Oh,
specialist.
okay.
All right. Peace. Wait, I thought that was her. Okay, we're waiting on a caller. So we're waiting on a caller chat. So I excuse the dead air. I forgot to talk. How you doing? TC in the building. Hello.
You out, always rocking the house, baby girl. You are like, listen, you keep doing what you're doing. You hear me?
I'm on. It's the ancestors that's got me doing this. The ancestors, and they send beautiful people my way, like Surviving and Winning, and Mr. Mrs. I'm sorry, T. .R.S. Wade, Life After Chemo. These people just naturally
Got
flow my
you.
way from the ancestors, and we're on our missions.
Amen. And blessings to you again, QI. Thank you for the platform. Blessings to the chat room, your guests, and everyone is just spewing out so much positive, again, solution oriented type conversation. And one of the things that I will say, this weekend in Philadelphia, QI, we had this thing called a honey conference, right? Mm-hmm. And it was so crazy because, like, the whole, getting different types of honey, and then they had, all kinds of various, I guess you could say medicinal, organic, holistic types of things. So there were plants that were for sale, the different plants and the different things that the plants do, the gardens. Here in the city, we have a different set of circumstances. So we can grow herbs. I think the sister that's in the chat there, she was talking about growing herbs, in and around our houses, inside our houses, et cetera, so forth and so on. But I'm going to tell you, I got some of this honey, and every morning I take a little bit of it, mm-hmm. and I am lit. You hear me? Mm-hmm. I am lit. My energy level.
Yeah.
Listen, espresso, mocha chocolate, get ya gaga, can't even compare to the honey. And they always say try to eat things and eat herbs and green stuff that comes from your immediate area.
Right, and raw as well. Like, try to mm-hmm. like try not to cook if you do have to cook, because it's required. It takes a minute, but if you do have to cook it, try to steam it instead of because like we have a habit of overcooking.
Blanch it.
Right.
Yeah, old school. They blanch it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the one thing that I can say that you can cook, that I think it's carrots, but it changes the vitamin. It changes the vitamin usage, but carrots can actually release a different vitamin if you cook it. So I just want to say that real quick.
That's interesting. Let me write that down and look into that. Mm-hmm. Is it a good vitamin?
I have to look at my book, but I had something on vegetables, and carrots do well with cooking, but it's a different vitamin when it cooks.
Okay, I'm gonna check into that.
there are some, and like the sister saying, that there are some vegetables that definitely you can give them, you can give them a certain amount of heat, and give them a certain amount of temperature, because of its consistency, and because of its complexion, and its complexion, the orange, and all of those things. We talk about the alchemist: orange foods, red foods,
Mm-hmm.
Yellow foods. Yellow foods are happy foods, y'all. So when you're eating yellow foods, you're you're really evoking a happy spirit. And when you're yellow and orange and red, all mean something.
Yeah.
The red goes to our blood. It gives us rejuvenation and reborn again. And folks, a lot of times people think of these things and they think of it as being spooky. And I just hate to say that, we limit ourselves, but we're just thinking one way, and when we're not open
Right.
to receiving what the ancestors want us to know for longevity and for sustenance, so that we don't have to be addicted to other people and and the diet and the things and the products and services that they give us only. I love the sister who said the cucumber in the water. Like, if we want to get alkaline water and we can't afford $3 for a bottle, I get it. I'm with it. I got you. Yeah, take some of that water, boil that stuff, put some cucumber in it, put some watermelon in it, put some lemon in it.
I put lemon in mine. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna try that cucumber too. I'm gonna try that cucumber too. But get you some regular old spring water, add to a dash of lemon, and then I'm gonna try to add that cucumber too. And you got yourself some good old alkaline water for less than the fraction of the cost. Because that alkaline water is definitely expensive.
It is. It is, and it is for a reason. However, like you said, it can do it. Let me tell you that does absolute wonders. And especially, I always tell sisters when we're going through our cycles, because women, we should be the most receptive to the whole numbers game, being in alignment with the moon and the stars and the sun, and on and on and on.
Right.
And the way that we plant our various crops, because every year, it shouldn't be every year you're planting the same crop. Some things is every other year. Like, you plant a crop one year, and then you plant something else another year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you know.
Yeah, my grandfather. My great grandfather was a farmer. Yeah, my great grandfather was a farmer, and he did some. He would alternate in crops at times.
Just to interrupt, like a little bit, I'm gonna throw my conspiracy hat on, because you mentioned the red and the yellow vegetable, and you notice that all the fast food signs are red and yellow. Your McDonald's and your Hardee's. Well, I don't know if you have Hardee's in your, but it's appealing to that happy vegetable, and it's giving you poison in exchange for it. So I just noticed, because they do something to stimulate someone's appetite. You use those two colors. Okay, back to the original topic.
And visually, you're good, but visually as well, those colors work.
Yeah.
Like you say, happy. It also works with visually. Those colors help promote happiness and good spirit.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like squash, for instance, people, squash, banana, lemons, boom.
Oh, man.
Like, lemon is a very refreshing and it smells good, and it, of course, if you put it in your water, it also does wonders for just rinsing and cleansing and things of that nature. What's really interesting, I put lemon. I just cut lemon and I put it in some water and I put it in my house just for the smell of it. You know what I'm saying? So the things that you all were talking about, like that give us these allergies and things of that nature, and the stuff that people are spraying. I told my mother the other day, I said, "Why are you getting that stuff with the purple and stuff? You don't even know what that is." And she was like, "Oh yeah, you're right." I said, "Listen, go back to the basics, okay? Get some lemon, get some lime, put it out, and let's handle the business, okay?"
Yeah.
And
let me say
certain plants. in addition to those. Yeah.
Let me say something real quick. Gentle Femme, look, get my email because I need you to come on because you're dropping some mad gems and I need you to come on and show those with us. You don't have to show your face if you don't feel comfortable or whatever, or we can do a call in, but I can tell that you know what you're talking about when it comes down to that health and spirit. And I really want to do, I really want to bring that forth on the platform. So please, by all means, hit me up and let's look at, doing, like, doing a live or something where, I could just let you run free and teach us some things. Cause I can tell you got some gems to drop. Okay. Awesome. I'm sorry, TC, awesome. Go ahead.
But no, I was just saying that they're just, small things that we can do. When I say small things, non-expensive, but it's organic, it's holistic. Even before we even started using that word organic, we were just natural. We were living in alignment with the universe, with the creator, and everything that is in it, the good, the bad, the indifferent, so forth and so on. I love mint. I have mint. I have a mint garden, an herb little garden, and things of that nature. And I can go out and pick and use it for a variety of things in the house. I tell people all the time, try if you can. Make sure you put mint in your water. It is amazing. It is
I'm gonna have to give me some fresh mint. That's one thing. It's hard to remember getting all this stuff, like when you go, like, and then it depends on where you live. It depends on where you see in the cities and stuff like that. Y'all have more holistic places than we do in the South, because I guess people have been accustomed to growing it on their own. And then there's another conspiracy theory I have. Like most of us in the South are indigenous. Well, it's more than just the South that's indigenous, but it's a reason behind it. We still have control over land and stuff like that. And so, I think that, like in a lot of ways, they don't want to keep us healthy in the South. So, that's just one of my conspiracy theories. But we don't have as many like holistic stores and stuff like that. We do have some fresh, some farmers and stuff that'll be on. But, sometimes the crops that they grow are the customary crops, just like the butter beans, the greens, they very seldom have, the stuff like the mint leaves and, turmeric, and different things of that nature.
I think, part of it is like if you're really in the South and you're like around a lot of animals, you try to grow something outside and you're going to get a lot of rabbits and deer.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But we have dandelion. We got dandelion and milk thistle that grows here crazy. I mean, like I go in my porch, like when our grass gets high, I'm guaranteed to see and get that. I don't even have to purchase that. Now, those are like I know how to identify those. I'm still working on learning identification, and it's scary sometimes too because you don't want to get the wrong thing, or eat the wrong thing.
This is true.
So I'm still.
Well, here's the secret. Anything that a goat eats, don't eat it.
I don't have a goat.
Anything. Well, we have goats here in Philadelphia. And I mean, when I say goats, it's a goat project, whatever. And they take the goats to the cemetery because there are certain types of little poisons and insects and certain types of greenery that they use that grows in a cemetery, and they use the goats to go and graze and eat that stuff. Seriously, it's a goat project in Philadelphia. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. When you watch what a dog or a cat eats, that might be something that you could possibly eat. Like they'll eat dandelion greens. Dandelion greens grow wild. And so dandelion greens, the dandelion itself is really, really good. It's an excellent diuretic. It's good for our kidneys.
You can make coffee.
It's good for our skin.
And coffee. You can make coffee from the root.
I think coffee's good. Yeah, well, you have the real coffee, you see. That's the thing. You have the real deal.
No, I'm saying
Yeah.
that you can make coffee from the dandelion root. I learned it by watching the video.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. It's hey, I love it. QI, this is awesome. One of the things that when you talk about your ancestors, I do want to tell you this. I don't know if I said it to you or not, but my one of my favorite scientists, George Washington Carver, he was one of the best scientists ever. He was, as a child, he was adopted by Caucasians, and they actually castrated him as a child.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
So
in Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington, and it talks about his alignment with the forest, and he would go out into the forest, and he said that the trees and the plants would talk to him.
Oh yeah, they talk. Our ancestors spoke of. Our ancestors always said that the trees and the plants and animals do too. If you learn how to communicate, you
yes,
just have
to
learn. You have to learn how to, like, we're so not in tune with a lot of our senses. Once you learn how to communicate, because like we have to keep in mind, there was one time, according to like what they say, that we didn't speak words. We it was like
Absolutely.
we sound and vibration. So, like, if you can get in tune with that, then you can get in tune with communicating with animals. It's very easy, whether they're wild or whatever. If you get in tune with, it's like body language. It's like body language. It's like reading energy, reading auras. Then you can get in tune with being able to communicate with animals and plants. Yes, I do agree with that.
Yes, and so when you get a chance, go get the book. It's a small book, Up from Slavery by Booker T. Washington, and he talked about when George Washington Carver came down there to Tuskegee Institute, better known as Tuskegee University, and he said George Washington Carver said to Booker T, like, "Yo, man, where my labs at? Like, where the buildings?" He said, "The land is your lab."
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how, and he started. It was George Washington Carver. They talk about recycling, and that's some new phenomenon. He's like, get out of here, millennials. This thing has been going on since our ancestors. No. They've been recycling and things of that nature, and recycling stuff over and over and over again. Trust me when I tell you, there is nothing new under the sun.
Oh yeah,
nothing.
And let me read this from the chat real quick, because I just, I'm taking so many notes. Y'all see me looking down. I'm taking notes. It said, Kiki the Unspeakable Space said, I hug my favorite oak tree and meditate. She said the oak tree is a healing tree. So I am going to write that down. Hug and meditate.
That's the deal. Tree therapy, let me say this to you. There was one time in my life when, it just was like really, really, it was challenging for me in so many different areas, from so many different lenses. And let me tell you something. Something just told me to just put my arms around the tree. And I just started walking the nature trails, and I would just start hugging the trees. And it was just something about it. Later on in life, I found various testimonies of people who are tree huggers. They call them tree huggers and tree therapy. And we see in the cartoons, y'all, like the forest comes alive at night, and it's like these spooky trees, and they're like, "Yo, you all right, man?" And the leaves start talking, and the trees start talking, and it's like, "Oh my God, go this way, young man. Go this way, John boy. Go this way." And the trees start talking. Well, here's the deal. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they make it spooky to us in these cartoons, but in all, they're telling us the secret, and they're decoding.
Yeah, the secrets to the survival in life, the secret to us making it out.
There you go.
And it's like reconnection with nature from which we came, because like the high source is nature. The highest source, or the highest source, or the greatest source is, as indigenous Americans call it, is nature. And like we have to reconnect. We have to reconnect with nature. And like when you're saying hugging the tree, the first thing that comes in my mind is that practice of grounding, where you walk outside barefooted,
Yes,
and you're getting
yes.
energy, minerals, and healing from that.
Hey, QI, make sure you put respect on that name. It's Mother Nature. You know what you said the other night?
Yes, Mother Nature.
Mother Nature. Yes, it's Mother Nature. Put respect on that name because it's Mother Nature and Father Time. They work
Put
together.
respect on my
But
name.
yeah, the tree, the lady that's hugging the tree, thank you, thank you, thank you. You go, girl, and you do that. You keep doing it
And I
because
want to
they give us the oxygen we breathe.
Right. And I want to say something else because Kiki said my father's Pentecostal pastor and he didn't like what I was doing. Right. Because, what I learned through research is that a lot of religion was put here to indoctrinate and to take us away from nature. Like one of the things we do is religion is conflicting and it takes us from oh, I didn't mean to say that, but I just said it now. It takes us from nature. It takes us from nature, and that's another thing that was put here, for a negative reason as well. We have to start not just stop believing in this stuff just because our ancestors, did it. Like we have to start researching the origin of the things that we're doing. A lot of times we just do things and we don't even know why we do it, other than we did it in our family. And so we got to start looking at the origin of things, the origin of these different religions, the origin of stuff, in order to find out if it's natural or not. And natural is definitely the only way to go and the only way to survive.
Absolutely. And you know what? One of these religions, and in particular, I want to just say Christianity has some nerve, and those people who interpret it in a particular way. A tree is the thing that gives us oxygen.
Facts. Facts.
Like
That's
we breathe in oxygen,
facts, and that's
and we give off CO2.
right. And that's what
So
we're in crisis of that right now because they've cut so many trees. And I just want to say something real quick, and then you can continue
there
on
you
that
go.
great point. Kiki, right. I believe in a higher power too. Now, we are like I think everybody except what we might consider atheists believe in a higher power, but a lot of people have this misconception, especially like the church people or religious people, that if you don't like if you don't believe in their God, then you don't believe in a God. But a lot of people believe in God, just not that type of God. Spiritualists believe in that higher. We might not, some people might not even want to call it God, or they might want to say the great I am,
Mm-hmm.
the great I am, or something like that. But
The I am.
it's still the same. Like it doesn't matter what we call it or what language it's in, it's gonna be the same at the end of the day. And we all have our own direct connection to that. Like, why do we need a middleman or middle people to connect us to something that we came from?
And can I say something? Um,
Go ahead.
um, I've been affiliated with different, religions, and at at the end of the day, the most judgmental parts of it, they're not the ones that help you when you're down. The
Fact.
people, the people that are connected to other people and connected to, um, just love, they will be there and they feel you. Like sometimes it almost feel like there's something in the way of that. And my father thought it was funny because I got a cat for the first time, and I'd never had a cat before. And he said, "Why, when you call a cat, why does he respond back to you? Or why you look in the cat's eyes and you don't have to say anything, and he knows that he's done something wrong, or and it's a spiritual
Mm-hmm.
connection. Like I grew up in the country, and by being around a lot of trees, when I move away from a lot of trees, I got asthma. When I moved into the city away from the trees, I couldn't breathe, and I didn't know I was allergic to certain things. And um, I moved back to a very country place because of my health. and I feel better. I actually feel better by not having a lot of people around me, by just having like 7 or 8 deer in the backyard or other things. And so at first they were wild and they would run from you, but they test you out and they feel comfortable. Just it's almost like an open zoo back here. We got guinea hens and you'll see a whole lot of things going around, and it's just so peaceful. And people seek that kind of peace, but they don't know how to handle it. Like when they get to that kind of peace, they bring the strife from the city here, but they don't know why they're drawn to that kind of peace. And when they start tearing down, concrete is not natural. So when you're in the city, you'll find that people without natural environments around become like more savage.
Hard.
So
That's right.
yeah, so it's a spiritual thing, and so it surpasses religion. Religion was made by man to control people, and if you go from one religion to another, if you really study all of the religions, they're saying the same thing and they're giving the same instructions, which means that they're controlled by one place. And anytime they want those factions to fight against each other, they continue to have power. But the real power is the connection that you have with your creator, because you before you were here, the world was here, and after you're gone, the world will still be here. So there is a power within inside yourself and a mission that you have that is just your own. And the religions, whichever one you choose, brings you guidance. And but you have to understand that you have a spiritual connection. And that connection, if you get really inside of yourself with that connection, you will you'll have a peace that people get upset about, that they get jealous of, that you have, that they don't have, and they'll try to take it away from you because they don't have it. But it is because you did not give up your peace, your inner
Wow.
connection to the creation, because you have to understand that the reason that you were born is you have a mission. And
Mm,
when you know that you have a mission and you tie into that mission, sometimes religious organizations will give you like a guidance as to how to navigate around the mission, but you can, if you're connected with it,
yeah,
a
you gotta
good connection.
You got to get that direct connection. You got our mission and our goal in life is to get that direct connection to the higher source. Whatever you may call the higher source. You have to get that direct connection to that higher source. Other than that, it's like, once again, that's why they can make religion. A lot of people, that religion has become a big money making industry, and just like we're talking about doctors and everything else, is because they want to keep you dependent
Yeah.
upon. That is the matrix, to
Absolutely.
keep you paying money. Why should you pay for a connection? Why do you have to pay for a connection with God? And tithes and offerings are to go to the poor and are to go out into the community, not to the pastors and things. And then you don't,
Mm-hmm.
tithes and offerings don't have to have anything to do with money. Tithes and offering has to do with what you're giving and you're helping and you're healing and your mission in life. That's your tithes and offering.
And if you will notice that when you come on a higher vibration, the people in your chat change, right? So you have and we're raising each other up.
Mm-hmm. And that's the purpose. Like I said, I'm not here for clicks and views. I'm not even monetized. And like I'm here, because I'm I always tell people I'm guided by my ancestors. My ancestors have me doing these things. And
Excellent.
and and I'm not gonna be disobedient to my ancestors when they tell me to go and to go that way. And like at the end of the day, it's like I have to do what I'm here to do, because I'm trying to get where I'm trying to go, or where I need to go, or where it is for us to go.
QI. I just wanted to say, because the sister was just talking about the mission and the frequency, the vibration levels, the mission, and that people who are not used to being in peace envy you. I want to say this: the sister in Hidden Figures. Y'all remember her? Y'all remember the three sisters, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That they played in the movie. Well,
Right.
there's the one that actually did the numbers, the mathematics. The one that Taraji played. That sister is from Philadelphia. She attended Wilberforce, which is an HBCU in Ohio. Interestingly enough, she's in a sorority called AKAs. Now, this is the thing. When we had this after Hidden Figures, it was a big thing here, and she got a chance to talk to some high school students, and she said that she every night she just stayed up under the stars.
I've done that.
And the stars talked to her, sort of like George Washington Carver. The plants and the trees talk to me.
You have to get
and
that
here
connection.
Here it is. We have somebody in our lifetime. Now, George Washington Carver was in another lifetime, but now we have somebody in our lifetime that we can talk to and touch. And this is the same thing that they're saying. And she said that she wanted to make sure that this guy got to where the moon is. She said, how do I get these mathematical figures and what are they? I need, and she said they talk to her.
Let me tell you something.
Her vibration.
Well, I'm glad you said vibrations because that's exactly. I did a piece on that the other day. Numbers mean things. Numbers mean something. Symbols mean something. Shapes mean something. And we didn't invent any of that. We discovered that. This stuff is intellectual. This stuff comes from nature.
But this is the thing, QI. Her will and her intent. She just went outside and stayed under the stars and did like you did. And sometimes, we meditate and we say, what thine will be done, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That's real. Once people understand how to decode the Father's prayer or the mother's and the Father's prayer, they will really understand how powerful a spell that really is. And a spell is a good thing. People need to learn how to spell. And then they will learn how to will things into existence a lot faster, a lot better, and a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady, that's what she said. Give me what I need to have. She said the next morning she woke up and this stuff all of a sudden, she said, it out of nowhere. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Yeah. And I just got chills listening to this. So we have to, you talk about the ancestors, the elders today, those that we consider elders, not older people. Let me get it right. They are older people and they're elders. Those elders that are not utilizing, trying to control you through religion, they're not trying to create divisive methods of the old guard. They're not trying to use you that you're a woman, you can't do this.
Right.
You're a man, you're supposed to be this. That's an older person. An elder is someone who has transcended above all of that crap, and they will tell you what the heck to do. And I'm telling you, listening to this sister was just amazing. And it was just a blessing. Let some of the elders bless you. Those who are elders, again, they're older people and there are elders. The older people, they're stuck. Some are stuck like Chuck. They want to be young again and all that. They're trying to revitalize themselves and they're trying to live through some of these young people. No. Right. We're going to age gracefully.
They're trying to steal.
Yeah, they're trying to steal your youth. Y'all don't even know the daggone deal. I'm not trying to be no 25, 35, 45, and in this. I'm on 49, going on 50. God bless America. I love it. Thank God.
And
thank you.
And the way that we're talking about all of these things, we're talking about like with the sister from Hidden Figures and all of that. We all have that in us. We all have it in us. We just have to connect to it, and we connect to. They just told us how to do it. You connect through nature.
Thank you.
Remember the story of what is it? Harriet Tubman and the Underground Slaves. What did she tell them?
Wow.
To follow? She told them to follow the drinking gourd in the sky. That was the Big Dipper. She told them to follow the drinking gourd in the sky, the Big Dipper. Everything connects to nature. It like connects back to nature. Even like that's why we have cycles. You know, everything. When we are nature. So like we have to just go back and reconnect. Go back to nature to survive. And, you know, to survive, if we keep doing things like this conventional matrix way, because the matrix wants to keep us dependent and spending money, which is not going to solve our problem, because it's not solving our health problems. It's not solving our health problems. It's not solving, you know, our you know, the problem with crime and none of this stuff. So, and then, you know, it's giving us low self-esteem and all kinds of stuff, and it's not connecting us spiritually. So we have to go back to connecting spiritually in order for us to survive, and we need to start passing that on to our youth. We're in our unnatural, we're living outside of our natural selves, and that's our problem.
Well, in addition to, I'm loving that, QI, because you were right on point with that. We have to make sure that we also master it and model it for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when they're ready to receive it, I don't mind giving it to you. Well, I'm not going to throw pearls to swine, though.
Right, but look, check this out. See, just like our ancestors are the reasons why we're indoctrinated, because with all the things that we're talking about is a part of our DNA, a part of our culture. This is the way that we used to live before indoctrination and before colonization. So once we were colonized, then we started adapting to their way of life. And so, you know, like just like our ancestors, they gave us this swine. They fed swine to gods and goddesses. You know, we need to start feeding nature back to our children. We need to stop, like, we got to stop being apologetic. We got to stop, you know, waiting on somebody to come save us. We got to stop a lot of the things that we're doing, and it all starts now. We got to start talking about it more. Everybody got a channel. We got a free avenue of communication right now that we're not using before they take it away. We need to get the most out of it, you know, and then, you know, we need to go out into our communities and do this, because this is the only way that we're going to survive. That's why, you know, like, money is not going to help us to survive, and money at this time has no value.
You got that right. It's only valuable once we put value to it, and it's not definitely going to help us with our health. It's not going to help us with the issues of the day, like you just said. It is not going to help us with that. We have to do what we have to do. Yeah, we're going to have to do what we have to do.
And I'm, you know, we've been on for like 2 hours now, so we ain't gonna go over into.
Okay.
Nah, but I love it, and we're gonna have to do a part 2. Y'all all have my email. Let me put it back up there. Y'all can email me about any shows, any ideas. You know, like I would like to do a part 2. If anybody wants to chime in, please email me, and we can do a part 2. I like to do that health series where we start talking about alternative foods and going back to herbal. You know, going back to herbal and natural foods and things like that. So please email me, because these are the things that I'm trying to bring forth on this platform, you know, and this is the kind of stuff that I'm trying to do. And I'm not a master. I know I got a lot of knowledge, but I'm not a master, you know, none of us have to be masters, but some people know more than me. And, you know, we can all share. So, you know, like, by all means, hit us up. Let's you know, hit me up in the email, and let's go ahead and bring forth this knowledge and try to, you know, like, because we are the change that we're looking for. We, you know, it's going to be nobody's going to come help us. Nobody's going to come save us. And, you know, we are the change. So we got to start doing this right now, people. And while we playing around, you know, like being distracted, and, you know, and dying off and all these good things, you know, we look around, because, you know, if you want to kill off a nation, you kill off their women. So we got to start paying more attention to the things that are going on around us, and we got to come up with more solutions to the things that are going around. Now I'm gonna end this show, but before I end, I would like to give everybody a chance to give their final word. TC, go ahead and give your final word, and then I'm gonna give the guest, the host, the guest today, surviving and win a chance to do her final thoughts.
Okay, thank you so much, QI. Once again, thank you to you. Thank you to the chat and for being very patient and engaging. Thank you to the guests. Absolutely awesome information. I just want to say one thing about the health that really helped me. It was eat right for your blood type. I definitely subscribe to everyone has a blood type, and everybody's blood type scientifically. Everybody's blood type has certain foods that will go with their blood type. Check it out. It is a book. It is a book. Eat right for your blood type. Understand what your blood type is. First and foremost, what's running through your veins and arteries. A lot of folks will not be able to tell you what blood type they are. When you know what blood type you are and you know what that blood type is and what it does and why you were chosen to be that blood type, oh my goodness, your purpose on earth will be illuminated at a whole nother level. So thank you so much, QI, for, again, your time and sharing always.
Always, CC, always. You're always welcome. Just hit that number or, hit that email and you're just as good as in. So thank you for, thank you again for that, dropping those gems. And as well, surviving.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Surviving and winning. I like to first of all say it's been an honor to have you on the platform. I like to say thank you for sharing your your story. You've helped a lot of people today. You see how many people came through and they started dropping knowledge. This was all on behalf of you, and I'd like to thank you so graciously for doing that. And surviving and winning, you can go ahead and please, by all means, know that this is not going to be the last time having you on. Whenever you're ready, we can come back to part 2, or we can come back and we can talk about some other things, because you also said that you're into finances, and that would be a great topic as well. But go ahead and give your final thoughts if you don't mind.
I feel honored to even to be invited on the chat and to be comfortable enough. You made me comfortable enough to share, because this was kind of hard to share, but your platform, I love it. The people in the chat have all the knowledge that was received, I have received, and that could help me grow my cells back so I can get back to what surviving and winning is all about, back to my old self. And just as though I thought I was bringing something to everybody else, you all have brought a lot to me. So I just want to thank everybody.
Oh, it's definitely been an honor. And Miss Tees, make sure you get that email. Make sure you get that email and hit me up in the email. Y'all subscribe to Mrs. T.R. apostrophe S Way Life After Chemo, because she drops a lot of gems as well. And by all means, I'm dropping the link to our special guest in the chat today. That is Surviving and Winning. I'm dropping her channel. Look, y'all make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe and give her some support and love, because she's going to be dropping some gems on all kinds of stuff. She's into finances. She has the healthcare insurance. She has a lot of healthcare insurance tricks and gimmicks, for us to, get around these loopholes and stuff like that. And so y'all, please, by all means, make sure you subscribe to her channel. We're gonna show us some gratitude and things of that nature, and hopefully that we'll all get together and do this again. If you have any emails, make sure you hit me up in any ideas or anything. Make sure you hit me up in the email, and I'll be glad to bring you on, because this channel is about women empowerment, and it's about helping us to survive. Because once again, the whole purpose of this is, when you take out the woman, you take out the race. And and they're taking us out right now. So we're the only ones that's gonna step up to the plate and stop it. So let's get this information, education out, and let's spread this positivity, and let's get us back connected to the nature that we need to be connecting on. And until next time, I would like to say thank everybody who came and supported. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because whenever the ancestors lead, just like with this beautiful sister here today, that want to tell her story, I'm going to come on. And so I don't have a specific time or date or a date to do anything. It's like whenever the ancestors leave. So make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love each and every one of y'all. And until next time, I would like to say peace. And we're out.